Welcome back, everybody. Well, my grade 5 wastewater treatment plant operator exam application has been approved, and I've been invited to schedule my test. With that, I thought it'd be great to do a video on what exactly I'm studying for my exam, my studying strategy, the 3 strategies I think you can take, and I'm going to tell you which one I use, and then upcoming content, which I'm super excited to share with you. The pump videos I've got coming. I had a really good one we filmed just a couple days ago. I'll tell you about that towards the end of the video, and some other process control videos that are coming your way, and new series that I've decided to launch. So first and foremost, approaching exams. The first thing I will always recommend is you approach these exams with extreme humility, okay? Never go in arrogant or cocky, because that's a great way to fail and waste a ton of money, because these exams are not cheap, especially in California. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars to take my grade 5, okay? Just shy of $500 that I paid out of my own pocket, because I do not need it for my job. I don't need it at all. I'm doing it for the channel as a series. So I don't take these things lightly. I've never failed a certification exam. I've now taken 8 state of California certification exams among all the drinking water and wastewater. I've never failed one, because I always go in knowing I can fail, okay? I have a very strong knowledge base. I do not in any way think the grade 5 is a done deal for me at all. I'm going in extremely humble and well studied. And if I fail, I fail. There's nothing I can do about that except give every ounce of my effort right now as I study. So that's going to actually bring me into strategy number 1, which I do not recommend, and has been recommended to me by managers that I don't know what they were thinking, but they wanted me to do this on my grade 3 and my grade 4 as I was spending a lot of time studying, and they were kind of pushing me to take the exam because they wanted me to upgrade my certificate, I guess. Strategy number 1 is go see what's on the test. Maybe you pass, you never know. And if you pass, great. And if you don't, well, now you know what's on the test, so you just go retake it. That strategy is categorically false. I am strongly against that. Now, if you've done that and you disagree with me, please put it in the comments below and let us know how it worked for you. But I do have a mindset issue with this. But first of all, let's talk about the tactical error you're making. In California, there's multiple versions of the test. So if I pay my $493 fee, which was for my 5, and I go sit for the test, get blown out of the water because I don't know what's on it, and I go, oh, that's on it, that's on it, that's on it, and I run to my truck right afterwards and I scribble on my notes, and I study those notes. Well, in California, there's 3 or 4 different versions of the test. So I've studied my notes, I've run back, I've rescheduled, I paid another $400 or whatever ridiculous retest fee it is to go sit for this test again, and I sit down and I'm ready to nail this thing. Well, I may have a different version of the test. That's not always guaranteed. Maybe I do get the same version. You're gambling at that point, and you may fail again because you were not actually prepared to take the test. So that is a strategy. That is a failed strategy, a failing strategy rather. Number 2 is that's a mindset problem. You are going to take a test to pass a test. You are not taking a test because you understand wastewater treatment or drinking water treatment. And I am very against that mindset. On this channel, I've created this channel to help people understand process. I did not create this channel to help push people through the exam process and tell them what's on it so that they can just pass a test. If you notice the vibe of my process control videos and my whiteboards, they are there to help you understand, not to just pass a test, okay? I don't think that sets you up well for your career. And if you're the type of person that just goes to take a test to pass a test, and you're only studying to pass a test, when you get into the real world, you're gonna be that operator that's always a shift operator. If you wanna be in leadership, until you truly understand wastewater treatment, it's gonna be very obvious, especially in plants like mine, that you're touching everything every day. Medium-sized plants like a 4 MGD plant or 5 MGD plant, it's gonna reveal itself that you're not totally up on. The bigger plants I can't really speak to those because I've not worked in like a 100 MGD plant, but I feel like it'll kind of flush itself out there too. So I just don't agree with the mindset. Now, if you disagree with me, again, comment. 2, you've decided you're gonna take the exam. This is strategy number 2. You schedule your exam, or not schedule, you're invited to the exam, you schedule the exam, and then you begin to study. I do not like this strategy because you've bookended your study time. Now, some of you might not have a choice. Some of you might have your job forcing you into this strategy, And if that's the case, you have to play the hand you're dealt. Some of you have to have certifications in certain time frames. Well, in this situation, what I recommend is once you're told you have to study, you have to take the exam, you start studying right away. You do not wait until you're scheduled. I have not done this. I've always done strategy number 3, which I'm going to share with you in a second. Strategy number 2 is going to, if you're very good at time management, it can work, okay? And if this is something that works for you, please put it in the comments below. But what happens is, if you're not good at time management, which a lot of us aren't, you are doing the things that are immediately pressing in your life, right? Like family, work, this thing, that thing. Oh, this other thing came up. And then you find yourself 3 weeks out from the exam, and now you're stressed and you're cramming, and that is not a good place to be studying. You want a clear mind, and you want to be focused in the right mindset on studying the material to understand it. Remember, these higher level exams in particular are more critical thinking exams, less process, do you know what a nitrobacter is? Like, no, it's like, hey, this went wrong. What do you do? Or did it go wrong? You know, it's like one of those things. Which of these are not true? There's like a lot of that, and they give you all these like crazy answers. You really need to understand to pass higher level tests. And so when you're cramming in this shortened time period, it really is not serving you. So my suggestion is if you are in that camp, you start studying the minute you're told by your boss that you have to fill out your application and submit. You just start studying, okay? Now, number 3, which is what I do, is I have determined I am going to take an exam, okay? I have not filled out the application yet, but I know I've made the decision. It's time to up my certification. I start studying that very second, okay? Slow and steady. Bites, little bites. You can only take so much in at a time. And so little bites over a long period of time. And when I find that I'm starting to get a rhythm, like, okay, boom, boom, like I'm remembering a lot of this stuff. Because when you get a higher level of certification exams, there's tends to be a couple year gap between the levels because you need more experience and blah, blah, blah. Passing scores expire. And so you tend to lag and you forget. And so I get back into study mode. Okay, I see this works. I've got my study guides purchased. And I'll talk about that in a second, which ones I'm using. Maybe fire off a couple practice tests. Let's see how we're feeling. And then when I start getting into a rhythm, like, okay, nothing's blowing my mind anymore. I'm not like having any aha moments. I'm nailing these practice tests. It's time to actually submit my application. And then when I get to the point where I'm scheduled, which I'm going to schedule mine late August, maybe early September. That's kind of where I'm aiming. When I'm about a month out from my date, I start taking a practice test a day. Not really long ones, but maybe a 20 question practice test. And then when I get about 2 weeks out, that second week before, not the week right running up to my test, but the week before that, it gets intense. Like long 100 question practice tests every single day, really hammering it. Different versions of different practice tests just to get different ideas of what might be on there. And then the week before the test, I bring it down, okay? Just back to that very early pace because there's nothing I'm gonna learn in this upcoming week that's gonna blow my mind. I should be totally well studied. Actually, I'm probably bordering on study fatigue at this point, okay? And then I go into the exam refreshed, well rested, good sleep. I'm not stressed. I get test anxiety. The last thing I need is to be worried if I remember, the ratio for a volatile acid alkalinity ratio. I don't need to be worrying about that. That should be cemented in my brain. Okay. So those are the 3 ways that I think you can approach an exam. I recommend number 3 if you can, number 2 if you have to, and never number 1. Never go blow an exam just to see what's on it. Nope. So anyway, what am I studying? First and foremost, the Wahlberg Grades 4 or 5 manual. I have some other operator friends, and they're probably watching this video. Thank you for your offer to pass me on the Veridian booklet. I will accept that offer. I have to email one of you back and say yes. I tried to buy the Veridian manual, and they said no, not unless you take our class. And I'm like, I'm not taking 3 days off work. No, I'm not doing that. Just shut up and take my money. There's a Futurama meme about that, and they wouldn't. It's crazy. And so I was like, all right, well, then fine. I'll just go and get it for free from somebody who's going to give it to me. This is crazy to me. Why you wouldn't take like $100 from me for this stupid piece of paper. Anyway, it kind of struck a chord with me. I'm going to take a look at the Veridian one and see how that goes. The Wahlberg manual I paid for, it's been great. Nothing's blown my mind, but I have learned some new stuff, particularly around biosolids, like Class A and B biosolids. I don't deal with that very much at all, really. And then knowing about certain chemicals I was unaware of what they did, and actually some other finer details around like flocculants and polymer and stuff has been really good. But for the most part, it's been a good review. I didn't really have any earth-shattering revelations when I was taking it. I actually took right away, I went in the back of the book, right? I didn't really even study anything, and I took his practice exam and did pretty good on it. Missed a few, but did pretty good. And so it gave me that confidence to proceed and read the manual, like, with an open mind. Let me see, Roy CEU is great for practice exams. Even at my level, it like reminds me of like, there's this thing or that thing might go wrong in a anoxic selector. Like what might you do, and things like that. So those are good. I do, even though I'm a bit of a math whiz, I'll admit I'm really good at math. I still go and review California Wastewater's Christian Williams. He did a great series on his channel about the grades 1 through 5 math. And so I'll go back and listen to the 3 and the 4. There's a 4 or 5 playlist, and there's a 3. I'll go back and listen to it and see if there's anything that stands out to me, like, oh, don't forget that they might do this on the exam. Don't forget that there might be a little conversion over here. And so it's just good to keep it fresh. So I go and I check out that YouTube channel. It's really good. Let me see, what other study material am I using? Oh, the water SIFU. That might come as a surprise for you, because this is not a drinking water exam. Or is it? Because there's a lot of reclaimed water questions on a grade 4 and 5, and Title 22 is a thing. So knowing about sand filtration and these other things, I work in MBR, so I've got membrane filters, but from what I remember from the 4, there wasn't a lot of questions about those. But you do need to know the Title 22 regulations in terms of not drinking water, but some of the strategies to get to Title 22 standards. And in Title 22, by the way, in California is the drinking water side of things, the potable water side of things. And so there are some questions there. And the last thing, so water SIFU is great. Not necessarily as distribution stuff, but as drinking water treatment stuff. Surface level, don't go too deep because you don't have to. It's not a T4 or a T5, it's a wastewater exam still. And then the last thing is the State Water Board's website. Read the regs. A grade 4 and 5 operator is going to be a CPO, or in the lineage, to be the heir apparent or whatever of the plant, because there's no reason you would ever get a 4 and 5 to be a shift operator in California anywhere. That's the 3. Okay, the 3 is the top level shift operator. Now you can have a 4 and a 5 and be a shift operator. There's just no plant in California that requires that. So the only reason you'd get a 4 or a 5 is to one day be a chief plant operator. Okay, so there's going to be management questions. There's going to be regulatory questions. There's going to be things like that. So read the regs, read the CPO brochure, read the OIT brochure, go through that stuff. Read the Title 22 reclaimed water regulations. Read that stuff because it is going to be your job. Budget stuff. Think about that. Okay. These are the kinds of things I'm looking at. Okay. Last, but certainly not least, content coming your way. And by the way, if you have any other questions or suggestions on those study resources I mentioned, please put in the comment below. And yeah, let's talk about that and let's help people out. So the last thing is content that's coming up. Like I said, I just did a video a couple days ago with a rep that came to the plant. He brought a dissected version of a progressive cavity pump. We were able to spin it and show you how a progressive cavity pump works. I'm super jazzed to get that out. I'm just waiting for his thumbs up on the final edited version of that video, and I'll publish it. And then other things that are coming, you'll notice I started some new series where I'm doing walkthroughs on state websites. Somebody asked for Ohio to be next, so I will be doing that next. It's just I got to learn Ohio's rules and regs to give you accurate information. And then I've also started a study, a series where I'm interviewing other operators. And actually, I'm going to Tri-State in a couple weeks. And if you're interested in being interviewed as an operator, an engineer, supplier, whatever, I've got a limited amount of time, and already a couple people have reached out, and I'm already interviewing a couple people. I've only got so much time, but I'm going to be interviewing some folks so you can hear their stories as well, not just mine. So that's a new series I'm starting, is interviewing other operators. to tell their stories, and live streaming. So I did my first live stream. That was a lot of fun. I've reviewed it once or twice. I re-listened to it, and I can already tell you how I can improve on live streaming, like reading the questions out loud, not just to myself, so people who watch the replay know what we're talking about. And then maybe I can start the live stream with a more solid update, not just staring at the screen. But you know, it's a learning process. This whole thing's a learning process for me. And then process control is still coming, guys. Activated sludge, I'm going to start that after I get back from Tri-State. It's a busy time at the plant. It's busy getting into Tri-State. I'm going to wait until the first week in August to maybe shoot a tour of my membrane bioreactor package treatment plant and explain some general overview of activated sludge for your studying purposes. Also, some more wastewater whiteboards are coming. Some more math problems are coming. If you guys feel like you're missing out on process videos that you want done, please put it in the comments somewhere that I can see, and I will try my best to get to those videos. I'm broadening out a little bit because the audience is broadening out and there's demand for all of this. So I'm just one person. I'm doing this all by myself. Occasionally I have a little bit of help, but it's 99% me doing all this, all the editing, all the shooting, all the everything, and I've got all my life too. So just be patient with me as I get those process control videos out to you. They do take the longest amount of time to make, okay? And by the way, on comments, if you want to comment and you want me to see it, create a new comment. Now, if there's a reply going on, I might get a notification, but YouTube Studio only tells me when there's unresponded comments from fresh comments. So if you're trying to get my attention, make a fresh comment anywhere on any video, and I will get a notification that there's an unresponded comment somewhere. But I actually have to go look for replies to threads and conversations I'm having with some of you. So anyway, I know this is a long video. I rambled on, but there was a lot to cover. Look for those activated sludge videos coming up, pump videos coming up, more whiteboards, more tutorials on how to get certified in your state, and interviews with other industry leaders to help you break in as well. Anyway, with all that, please like, subscribe, pass to your friends. Let's help folks get certified. You know the deal. And until next time, have a great day, everybody.